Review of the Stylophone GEN X-1 and the Stylophone GEN X-1 case. This is a little unusual as my reviews go, as this isn't something I've bought to review or been sent to review, but it's something I received for Christmas. So there's no unboxing, and the box it is in is damaged from when I unwrapped it. But let's take it out of the box anyway. I'm of an age that I can remember the original Stylophone, and this Stylophone and the box and the paperwork are done in the retro style, just like the original. And you can say it looks a bit plasticky, and I'd have to agree with you, but all you have to do is Google the original Stylophone to realise that many from the 70s are still working perfectly. This version of the Stylophone, the GEN X-1, has way more features than the original Stylophone, and most of the features you'd only expect to see on an analogue synthesizer. But that's exactly what it is, with the advantages of being small and cheap. For the size, there's an awful lot on it. So firstly, I'll go through all the controls very briefly, and then I'll look at them in more detail later. Overview of the controls. The controls on the top have been broken down into 4 sections, so you can easily see what you're doing. There's the envelope section, the LFO, the delay, and the filter sections. On the left hand side, as you look at it, you've got the power switch, a -2 octave switch, a -1 octave switch, and a pulse width modulation switch. On the right hand side, as you look at the unit, you've got a volume control, a combined headphone and line out, and an auxiliary in. On the underside, there's a pitch control, which you can also use to tune it, as like any analog synthesizer, the tuning does drift. On the back side of the unit, there's a hidden pot, which they call the trim pot, but I'd call it intonation, as it's to tune the Stylophone to itself. Right, let's take a listen to what it sounds like, and we'll start by tuning it using the pitch shift and the trim pot, as this is what you'd have to do if you bought one. Tuning the Stylophone. Firstly, I'll tune the middle C using the pitch control on the back and a tuner set in chromatic mode. The first thing I notice before I even start tuning it is that the pitch shift is insane. It goes up multiple octaves and it goes down multiple octaves. Okay, let's try tuning that middle C. Getting the middle C in tune can be a bit of a pain if I'm completely honest, because the pitch control is very sensitive and you just have to touch it for it to go out of tune. And after I'd tuned it to this pitch, I decided I'd prefer it down a couple of octaves. So I had to start the whole process again. And an even bigger pain was adjusting the trim to get that in tune as well. But eventually I got it there. you can see that the bottom C is slightly sharper than the middle C. I've cut the whole tuning process out of this video because it must have taken me about quarter of an hour to 20 minutes and it would have been the most boring video you've ever watched. Right, let's hear what the controls do to the sound. Stylophone GEN X-1 sound tests. I'll start by lowering everything and turning everything off but the unit. Now I'll turn up the attack time. Now I'll reduce the attack time again, but increase the decay. I've noticed that if you want a continuous note, you have to use the cutoff on the filter, so I'll turn that up now. Using this continuous tone, I'll demonstrate the LFO, which has got two waveforms, square and triangle, and you can increase the speed and also the depth. I'll turn it back down to a short note and then I'll demonstrate the delay. Delay, for anyone who doesn't know, is echo. This has got three controls. One for the speed of the delay, one's for the feedback or how many times it repeats, and the last one is for the volume. I'll just put the volume right up so you can really hear the delay effect. Interestingly, you can turn the feedback up so high it produces a perpetual loop. Finally, I'll demonstrate the filter. I can't resist bringing some of the other effects in. As you can see, you could probably spend all day bending and shaping the sounds. But I've forgotten one last thing, and that's the 3 buttons on the left hand side of the Stylophone as you look at it. I've gone back to a very simple sound so you can hear what impact these buttons have. Firstly, the 1 octave down. Secondly, the 2 octaves down. Finally, the pulse width modulation. And of course, you can have any combination of these on, or all 3 on if you want. The possibilities are endless. Here's a couple more very different ideas. Firstly, a space sweep. Secondly, a simple synth buzz, reminiscent of the Telstar sound. A sharp, high-pitched, glassy sort of sound. An imposing bass, but with high-end sort of sound. If you're interested in analog synthesis and want to get started, this is a great start because it gives you a really good idea of how the controls work and what they do. And the controls have a very similar effect on even the most high-end synthesizers. Something I haven't mentioned so far is the strip above the keyboard, which gives you the possibility of playing a kind of portamento style or almost theremin style, because it's got no steps to the keys. However, it's difficult to hit a note in tune. But if you just want to produce special effects, it really gives you another very strong tool. As you can see from that test, I wasn't even going to try to produce anything musical. So if you managed to, kudos to you. Something else I need to mention is the fact that you've got an auxiliary or line in. This will take any sound from a guitar, a microphone, keyboard, or even something on your mobile phone, and it'll take it through the LFO, the delay and the filter, so you can do all sorts of sound processing with your own sounds. However, unfortunately, all my batteries are flat, so I'll have to cover this in a future video. Before I do the conclusion, let's take a look at the case. The case didn't come with the Stylophone, but I ordered it from the Stylophone shop at stylophone.com, and it came really quickly in a massive envelope. So let's open it up. There you have it. It's a semi-hard shell case with good quality zips and Stylophone GEN X-1 printed on the front of it. And it holds the Stylophone really neatly, and your instruction books. And there's even space for a couple of 3.5mm jack adapters, because I'll probably need those when I use it. It holds it all really safely, and it's even got a little handle on the top. Really, it's just the ticket for storing everything away safely. Conclusion. for something so small and cheap, this thing packs a whole load of features, and it is a fully functional analog synthesizer. The overall quality is very good. It is plastic, but the pots seem solid, and so do all the switches, and the jack plugs for the input and the output. The thing about a device like this is it's so useful in so many scenarios. It could be just kids messing around, or people who are serious and want to get into analog synthesis, or people who are producing soundtracks and they need something that'll just produce strange synthesized sounds. Personally, I'd use it to produce sounds that I want to use in music, but I wouldn't use it as the instrument. I'd sample the sounds it's made so I could easily reproduce them from a digital source. So, to summarise, I think it's really good, and for the price, it's a really powerful analog synthesizer. There's a couple of bad points that I need to mention, and the main one is the tuning. The pitch shift control is far too sensitive, so it could take you ages to get the tuning correct. And then when you turn it off and put it away and get it out again, you need to retune it. Now, this isn't much of a pain, but it really could do with a less sensitive pitch shifter, and then it would be easier to tune. The second bad point, which is really more of a suggestion, is the fact that it takes 4 AA batteries, and because I was using it all day today, the batteries were flat by the end of the recording. So it would be really nice if there was a power supply option, because then you wouldn't have to keep changing the batteries. So all in all, it's really good. And if I hadn't have received one as a Christmas present, I probably would have bought one anyway. And if you take a look on their website, stylophone.com, you'll see there's a couple of new devices coming out soon, and I'm definitely going to be trying to get hold of these. So if or when I do, I'm definitely going to review them here. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Or if you want to see the test of the auxiliary in feature, I'll be posting that as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching, and if you're looking for free guitar lessons, take a trip to my YouTube channel where you'll find playlists which are complete guitar courses, and you can get the PDF ebooks that accompany those courses completely free at www.ebooksforguitar.com. Thanks again.